What's up everybody, it's Robin Gaming here. So we are quite some months away from E3 2018. I think it's still about 4 months left, so that's quite a while. But at the same time, we are seeing that the first bits of information are slowly coming out about it. And so what we learned very recently, I think a day or two ago, is pretty much what the floor plans right now in its early phases look like. And to really quickly explain to you again, for those of you maybe who don't understand what I mean by that, E3 really always consists out of two parts, right? The first part is the press conferences. That's what you and I are probably most excited about, what we're going to be, making predictions videos about, of course, and it's simply going to be those big shows with awesome game announcements by Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, all the other, companies that will be doing something like that as well. The third part is, EA and Ubisoft and stuff. So that's going to be really cool. That's the part that, for the people that won't actually be attending, that's what they're going to look forward to the most. But of course, there is also E3 itself. Like, that's pretty much the main part of it, is the show floor. And that means that all the journalists that will actually be heading to Los Angeles will be able to check these games out in person. They'll be able to, play them, they'll be able to talk with developers and all that kind of stuff, right? I think also there's now a small part of regular consumers that can be attending too, so that's pretty cool as well. But this really is referring to that second part, the show floor itself. What we've seen now is a first draft of the, show floor plans come out. What we see in there is that Sony and Nintendo have some massive amount of spaces reserved pretty much on the show floor. So that means that the people that will be attending will see insane booths with, lots of console pods where they can be playing games or other stuff to look at. There's simply a lot for Sony and Nintendo to be showing. At the same time, we see that Microsoft, on the other hand, in the other hall of the building, actually has a super limited amount of space. It absolutely pales in comparison, and that's of course very interesting to talk about. Now, I'll cut him some slack and I'll say that of course, the couple of floor spaces are surrounding the one that's right now marked with Microsoft are still empty, so they're still yet to be decided, and I don't know what that means. It could be that Microsoft will actually be using up that space as well, but even if they do, it's still not in any way on the same level as a Sony or Nintendo did it. And I think we saw the exact same thing actually last year, where it was it was just the same thing. Sony and Nintendo had that massive amount of space, Microsoft not so much. Of course, it begs the question, like, what does that mean for Microsoft? Does it mean they don't have too much to show off? Do they have other plans? We've already heard them talk about, for example, that they will be changing up a little bit this year in some way. We don't know what that means exactly at all, but it could be that, for example, they will now be hosting this event outside of E3, just like what EA has been doing for the last few years, where they've actually let gamers play the games somewhere else, that they don't have to actually attend E3. It means it's more cheap for them as well to host it and stuff, and so because E3 is super expensive if you want to actually have a stand there. So it could be something like that, right? But at the same time, yeah, you just wonder, why are they attending E3 then nonetheless, the actual show floor? And why with such a small size, right? Is that actually going to get bigger, and why is it so small? Is it for the fact that there's simply not a whole lot to show off this year again? And that would really suck to see, because of course right now Microsoft is the company that needs to step their game up, I would say, the most out of the three companies right now, the console manufacturers. We need to see more awesome exclusive games, a bigger lineup being announced, because, it's kind of a running joke at the moment that Xbox has no games, and there's something to be said for it, because, of course they do have somewhat of an exclusive lineup, but it's nothing in comparison with Sony and Nintendo. So yeah, I think it's just very interesting stuff. Like I said, it's a little early right now to talk about, of course, because we are still about 4 months away from it. But nonetheless, I'll be most likely doing some very early predictions in a couple of weeks from now or something like that. So look forward to that. And for now, all that I pretty much want to know from you is, what do you think about this? What are your thoughts about it? What do you think this means for Microsoft? And yeah, simply let me know all of that stuff in the comments, while at the same time maybe telling me what are some of the really cool announcements that you're looking forward to and that you really hope will be happening at E3 2018. And then for now, that was it for the video. So thanks for watching, everybody, and hope to see you again next time.